Hi Flosstube, it's Brooke with Stitchbythebrook. Back for another video, finally, I think after 10 weeks. So I do have a lot to show you and I'm excited about that. I have a lot of haul, but I'm not going to do haul this video. It'll be a separate video because it's been 10 weeks. There's a lot to show. But I do want to show you that I am keeping a planner. I don't think I shared that before. For just my crafty stuff, and sometimes I do put things in there, like if I have an event at school or something, I'll put that in there. So there's kind of what my planner looks like. I'm not 100% great about writing every single thing, but I do try to write it in there because I don't know about you, but sometimes I just feel like, oh, sorry about that glare on my glasses. You know, gosh, I'm not really getting anything done. I'm not really doing anything. But when I write down every single little thing, then it looks like a lot. It adds up. You know, and it all, I mean, it's small stuff, right? None of this is going to affect the state of the nation. So let's just jump right in. I have a big stack of project bags here to show you the projects that are in. But let's start here. One thing I wanted to show you, I think I talked before about fabric organization, maybe. I think I did. Cross-stitch fabric organization. So I finally came up with something that I'm pretty happy with, I think, so far. So I have these comic book boards, and I use those for my quilting cotton if I have yardage. And I wrap it around, and I store it. I have a pretty narrow wall cabinet. My husband used to work at a cabinet making company, and we ended up with these fantastic cabinets. But anyway, these fit perfectly in there as far as the depth. So I keep yardage of quilting cotton like that for the most part. And so I thought, well, maybe I could do something with my cross stitch fabric. So unless it was just a tiny remnant, I wrapped it on here. I measured it. I checked the count to make sure that I knew, because some of them I had no idea what the count was. Some of the stuff that I received from Vicky, my friend Vicky, the Vicky Endowment. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. It's super fun. She just decided she wasn't going to cross stitch anymore and gave me all of her cross stitch stuff. So some of it I didn't know what the count was. And so I measured it. I checked the count. If I knew the fabric information, like the maker and the dyer, the color and the dyer, then I put that on there. But if I didn't, I just left it. So I have it all separate, sorted, or put on comic book boards and with these little, I think they're called alligator clips. And I have a pretty big closet in this room, and I have a couple of those plastic drawer things that have like 3 drawers in them. And so I just have it sitting in there like this. And then I made some labels and put on some, I cut one of these or a couple of these like in thirds or half or whatever, long ways. And I made a label, 36 count, or 28 count, whatever it was. And I put it on there, and I just kind of put that with the different counts. So for now, it's working pretty well because, so I have one more here. And so it's, you know, it's kind of stacked up in the drawer like this. So when I open the drawer, I can see it all. And I know that's, you know, what is 32 count, et cetera, et cetera. Something else I wanted to show you, and I don't have, well, there will be some in these, one of these project bags, but another floss tuber, linen and scraps. Oh my gosh, her name has just escaped me. Anyway, linen and scraps. One of those gals talked about getting these plastic, let me see if I have something I can put behind it. I don't know if that's better. No. These little plastic hangers, like, and then they're adhesive right here to put on your Weeks Dye Works floss so that it goes on like a floss ring better. So these are fantastic. This is like one of the best tips and tricks that I found so far as organizing cross stitch stuff. So wanted to share that with you. The quilt, this is just the top. The quilt it's not quilted yet. This is my Heart of the Home quilt that I finally finished the top. I have about 5 or 6 quilt tops that I need to quilt, and I'm working on another one right now. Hopefully I'm going to try to finish that one up in the next week or so. for a retirement gift for a dear colleague and friend and mentor. I'm so excited for her. I'm going to miss her something fierce. But anyway, so I'm trying to do that quilt. But this is the the quilt-a-log that Michelle Burt and I were doing, also quote unquote. It took me forever to get my top done. I don't think Michelle even did another block after we said we were going to do that. But anyway, again, it doesn't matter, right? None of this affects the state of the nation. It's all good. Do what you want to do. But I did finally finish the top. I love it. If you follow me on Instagram, there will be pictures of the quilt once it's quilted. And so you can go there to see more about that later. But okay, so let's go ahead, and I've got... These are just like projects that I've worked on. Some of these are, even these bags are some things I've worked on. So this is a project bag that I made recently, and I know it is super wild. It's super wild. It's my Jessie Challenor bag. I bought, and so this is haul, but and I'm not really showing haul, but I will show you this. So I ordered Jessie Challenor. I got the chart, and I'm doing the Bright Way. I haven't started it yet, but it is all kitted up because I did go ahead and get the DMCs from them. There's a little note in there because it was missing one floss. It was on back order, I don't know. And so I said, well, just go ahead and send me what you have and I'll get it later. Anyway, I am so excited about that. But I also ordered... there were 2 panels you could get, so I don't remember what the sizes are, but one was a little smaller and one was a little bigger. So I made a project bag out of the bigger one, and then I made just this little kind of notions bag. Project bag out of the bigger one, notions bag out of the smaller one. And I just used, and I used something kind of wild for the inside. It's yellow roses, but there's gold in that fabric. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, and I know this fabric is, if it's something you like, I can't tell you how to get it because I've had this fabric for a very long time. So pretty sure you can't get it anymore. This is a project bag I made. This is Longaberger fabric. You guys know Longaberger baskets. And I just used some fabric I had in stash for the lining. So I sold Longaberger baskets for a while, and I had I don't know what you call those, but it's like the sample fabric that they put together. So there were like 4 fabrics from this line, and they came on like this cardboard thing, and there was like 4 different sizes. One was, anyway, so I've had those forever. I mean, that was like mid-90s when I sold Longaberger. And so I just decided I was going to take a couple of those bundles of those sample fabric swatches and make a couple of project bags. So this is one of the bags I made. This is a bag I made. It's very wild. And oh, I forgot, I have a different fob that goes on here. So I have a little story kind of to tell about this bag. So this fabric, I mean, I just love it so much. I think it came from Joann's. Maybe we should have a moment of silence for Joann's. That's so sad. But I think this came from Joann's a few years ago, several years ago. But I love it so much. And I used it in my crop circles quilt. If you saw that video where I showed the crop circles quilt. I did finally get that quilt quilted. I still need to label and put the binding on. But anyway, so I made this bag. I have been to 2 retreats since I saw you last. I went to Prairie Moon Primitives for the Stitching on the Prairie retreat with Shelly, an antique needleworker. And at one point, Carrie, Tiger Lily, was supposed to come with her. Well, if you follow Carrie, she had surgery, and so I didn't ask, I didn't pry. I was just assuming that was why she didn't come. She thought she should stay home. So I'm assuming, I don't know that. But I made, because she loves wild, pink and wild, bright colors, right? She brightens most charts up. I made a bag for her like this. And it has a hot pink heart key fob, and mine, I have one somewhere. And so Carrie and I have a bag. We have matching bags. I made this bag. I don't think I've shown these to you yet. I have them set aside, so if I did, I'm sorry. I made this bag. It's just strawberries. And I had some tags and I kept forgetting to put them on the bags. And so I did finally put a tag on it. I don't sell them or anything. I make them as gifts and make them for myself. I made this bag. So I bought a Christmas comforter. My friend Stephanie, I've talked to you about Stephanie before, she enabled me. Anyway, she has Christmas comforters on the beds in her house. And so I thought, well, I need a Christmas comforter. So I ordered one and it came like in a drawstring bag made of the fabric that the comforter is made out of. And so I made a project bag out of it. And it just has this simple Christmas fabric. I don't know. I had a fat quarter of that. I don't know where it came from. Somewhere. I didn't show you the inside of those other ones. I'm sure you're okay with that. And then I made this bag. So this is a placemat, a Pioneer Woman placemat. See? So, and I couldn't decide if I wanted the teal or the white, but I like the polka dots, and so I did it that way. Here's the story. I bought some Pioneer Woman placemats, how many ever years ago this line was out, and I made a toaster cover and a KitchenAid mixer cover out of the placemats. And how many ever sets of placemats I bought, however that came, I don't remember. I had one placemat left that I didn't use. And I cleaned out my hutch because I have a new hutch now, or different hutch. It's actually my mother's. So anyway, there's a whole story there. My mom is fine, but I have her hutch now. So I cleaned out the hutch and this placemat was just in there. And so I thought, so I made a project bag. The placemat. Okay, here's some quilt, some finishes, not fully finishes, like that one's not fully finished, and this is just kind of a quilt whip. I'm currently working on this quilt. This is an adaptation of the Winter Star pattern from Missouri Star Quilt Company. In their pattern, you put 4 patches in these corners, and I didn't really want to do that, and I am making 20 blocks. I think the pattern calls for 12 or 16. Anyway, I'm making 20 blocks because the person I'm making this for is pretty tall, and so I'm making 4 by 5, and I just would not have had enough fabric from the layer cake if I had put 4 patches in these corners. So, and I actually like it better without the 4 patches. Anyway, so that's a quilt that I'm working on. And these quilts, you know, it's not easy to show quilts on a video unless I, stand up and hold it up and all that. So I'll just show you a little bit. But if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see these at some point. So this is a quilt that I made. This is Confetti Star by Material Girlfriends. And the fabric is, it looks very much like a K facet fabric, but it is not. It is... can't remember. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like Crassie's, what the fabric line they used to have or something. And that was going out of business. That was shutting down. And so somebody was selling this on Facebook. This was a few years ago. And they were selling it really, really cheap. And I thought that fabric was fantastic. So I bought it and I made this Confetti Star quilt out of it. And I've been working on this quilt for a long time because it was put with all of the stuff that I take to quilt retreats. And so I only worked on it when I went to quilt retreats. So the last time that I got it out, when I was getting ready to go on a little retreat, I just decided I was going to finish that quilt. And so after I got home from that little retreat, I just finished it because it had been lingering for so long. I think this pile might fall over. This pile might fall over. If it does, oh well. Okay, this is a quilt that I started and finished since I saw you last. This is called Alfresco. It is by Sherry and Chelsea, A Quilting Life, Sherry McConnell, A Quilting Life, and her daughter Chelsea. It's one of their patterns. The original pattern has 2 blocks. This is one of the blocks, and the other block is 4 of this design small, so really small. So it's the block is the same size, but there are 4 of these motifs or whatever. And I just decided I wasn't going to do that. So I didn't. The fabric line is one of their fabric lines. It is called Seashore Drive, I think. So one of the things that I've done since I saw you last was I went to Texas for a weekend, a little bit of a long weekend. I went with Lisa, Black Coffee and Grits, and Michelle, Making It with Michelle, or Michelle Burt on Instagram. And I drove to Texas. They both lived there, and we got in Lisa's vehicle the next morning, and we drove to Tinsmith's wife. And so in Comfort, Texas. And so that was fantastic. We stayed there, and the next morning we got up and we went back to the store. And then we headed back to the DFW area. We stopped at 2 quilt shops on the way, so that was fun. And then we got a hotel room. And then the next day we had a sew day, which is something Michelle and Lisa do with this group regularly, that was so fun for me to get to do that. And so the 3 of us decided we were going to make this quilt. I think we're all making it out of Seashore Drive. I think that's right. So anyway, that's the story on that. So this is another quilt that I finished since I saw you last, or the top. The quilt is not finished. This was from a Liberty box. This pattern was from a Liberty box. I don't know the name. I don't know the fabric line, but I love patriotic everything. And so this was another one that I'd kind of had with my quilt retreat stuff. It was a project that had just kind of stayed packed up. And again, I decided I'm going to finish that quilt. And so I finished the top. And then the last quilt that I want to show you is, I showed you not too long ago a quilt. I showed you some blocks that I was making. This is Water Lily, I think. And I made a quilt for a friend with this block. And a friend of mine has a fairly new granddaughter, and so I had a couple of extra blocks, and so I made a few more, and I put together a baby quilt, so for my friend's granddaughter. So super excited about that. Need to hurry up and get that to her before she outgrows the quilt. Okay, so let's talk about cross stitch, and I'll show these project bags as we go. So I made this bag, and with this little. And I put this little fob on there. I made Shelly, Antique Needleworker, a bag just like it because I thought this really just kind of reminded me of her, looked like her. I know she loves blue. So this does have my Antique Needleworker retreat kind of projects in here. So I will show you the chart that she gave us. This is Sarah Batt. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. And then she also gave us Sarah's Smalls. And so I started both of those at the retreat. Get those out so I can show them to you. I took some of her other charts because I thought I might start something else, but I didn't. I will show you. I'll go ahead and show you what else I bought at the retreat because, well, the charts. I bought some other stuff at the retreat, but I'll show you my progress on those in a minute, but let me show you this so I can get it out of the way. Be Ye Faithful, bought that at the retreat. Be Ye Thankful. And then Mary Wigton. I'm pretty sure I bought this because of Jim. That is Jim, Stitch and Jim. That is her local needlework shop. Primitives. So, okay. So here is my progress on my start on Sarah Batt. I don't remember what this fabric is. And I'm pretty sure I don't have a card in this bag. And then I also started the smalls. One of the smalls is there. So there's that. I just love this chart. I'll let you look at it one more time. So, and Shelly is so great because she really, and a lot of designers do, but it was great to hear her talk about the chart and what she learned from researching. It is surmised that this is Solomon's temple. So that was kind of interesting. Okay. Thank you for being patient while I put stuff back. Okay, this is a bag from Penny and Tooney. And I bought this little cherry fob off of probably Temu. Pretty sure it was Temu. So during the week of Easter, starting the Sunday before, I had a new start every day. And most of these things have very few stitches in them because I just wanted to start something every day. And I thought, well, you know, I have it. Why not start it, even if it's a little start? And they're all religious starts. Or stitches, but that's what I wanted to do, so that's what I did. On Easter Sunday, I started two things, and this is my Easter Sunday bag. So there are two in this. So most of the starts, not all, but many of them are from Sweet Wing Studio, and this is one, My Redeemer Lives. And so here is my start for that. Really small. Again, all of these are really small. Most of the time I sat down for 10 minutes that morning, or 5 or 2 or whatever, and just started it. Then my second start for Easter Sunday was It's Only on Sunday by Darlene Dion Designs. And here is my start on that. This is some mystery fabric from my Vicky endowment, so don't have any details on that. Pretty sure it's a 36 count though. Pretty sure it's a 36 count. So this is the, this was my table mate gift from Jem at the retreat. And mine has a little bee on it. And when I got home, I switched it. I switched this project and put it in that bag because it was in a different bag before. So this is one of my Easter week starts. This is Sweet Wing Studio Victory in Jesus. And here is my little start on that. This is a bag that I made from that, some of the leftover fabric I had from the Seashore Drive alfresco quilt. And then I have this little butterfly fob put on there. This is something that me and Lisa and Michelle started, or Lisa, Michelle, and I. Let me grammar. This is M. Satterthwaite, 1807, a Quaker sampler. We bought this at Tinsmith's Wife. We decided we needed something that we could stitch together. They are they are both quite a bit further than I am. I am stitching it with Weeks Dye Works Michael's Navy. Love it. Don't know what this fabric is. Oh, I can tell you. It's parchment. It's 36 count Atomic Ranch parchment. And here's my start. I think they both have like a motif or 2 done already. I haven't had it back out since we got back. Ever since I got home from that little trip. But I do love it. I mean, I love them all, right? Or I wouldn't have started them. I wouldn't be stitching them if I didn't love them. This is a bag from Samply Stitched. In a Green Gables bag. And this is a daily reminder. I've seen a lot of people stitching this, I'm sure, a daily reminder. And I am stitching this on, this was something from the Vicky endowment, and it is, or it was, I think an 18 count Rustico, and I dyed it. I coffee dyed it, and I used some black Rit dye. And I'm not super happy with the dye job, but it's okay. It's all right. So the other thing is, somebody on Instagram, I think it's Stitched It Pink. I think that's who it was. converted all the floss to some really bright colors, and I love it. So this is kind of on hold because I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to restart. Trying to decide whether or not I'm going to restart because I really like that bright colorway. This is a bag that I made from one of the Lori Holt bag panels. This is an Easter week start. This is Sweet Wing Studio, Praising My Savior. Here's my tiny start. This is a bag I made. Some doll fabric. This is an Easter week start. This is Sweet Wing Studio on Things Above. Set your mind on things above. And most of these I'm just stitching with DMC. I think all of them I'm stitching with DMC. And they may or may not be the called for. There's my tiny start. I think I have a needle stuck in every project. Does anybody else do that? I'm not the only one, right? Here's a bag I made, again, from one of the Lori Holt bag panels. And a bob. This is an Easter week start. This is Sweet Wing Studio, Guard Your Heart. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And here's my little start. Yeah, got some glosses like stuck on there. Well, I'm just gonna leave it. My little start. So this is, this was Krista Wildflower Stitcher, and I started this on President's Day. This is Badger Gentleman. I think he is so fun. He is so fun. Let's see, where's my start? Don't have much of a start on it either. I do have a little one. There's that. And this is stitched on 32 count Belfast in the color Storm. And I just pulled some DMC, I think. Anyway, I think he's going to be really cute. I am probably not going to stitch any of the mushrooms. That's just not my thing. I'll take those out. And I may change like his tie to red and maybe make his vest gray, I think. I haven't 100% decided, but some fine frog stitching, Badger Gentleman. This is a bag that I made. And I made Krista a bag out of this fabric for her birthday. And her birthday start is in here somewhere. This was an Easter week start. This is I Wait for the Lord by Hands to Work. And I am only stitching this middle. If you follow Continuing Needleworker Kim, she has stitched this. And I am stitching it on 36 count Huntress. There's my little tiny start. This is 36 count Huntress. I just love this fabric so much. Oh my gosh. And I am stitching it with Weeks Dye Works grits. Weeks Dye Works grits. And see, here's how those little tabs just fit right on the end of that. It's so good. I love that so much. It really makes it so much easier to kind of wrangle the floss on a floss ring. Okay, here's another bag from Penny and Tooney. And this has an Easter week start in it. This is Tetelestai. Let me see if I have a, here we go, here's my cover page. Tetelestai. And I am stitching it on 36 count Huntress. I don't know who the maker of that is. There's my little start. Also with grits, because I want to hang these two together. You know, if I ever get them finished. I will. I'll get them finished sometime. This is a bag that I made. This is an identical bag to one that I made for Jim as her table gift. her table mate gift for the retreat that I went to where she was. This is an Easter week start. This is Mercy and Grace by Sweet Wings Studio. And here's my tiny start on that. Looks like maybe I had 30 minutes instead of 10 that day. I got a few more stitches in that one. I haven't touched any of those since Easter. Because I've been doing other things. This is, I'm excited to share this with you. So, at the Prairie Moon Primitive, or the Stitching on the Prairie Retreat with Shelly, Antique Needleworker, I made a couple of new friends. Susan Jeffries. I had never met Jim before, but I felt like I knew her because Krista talked about her, because Krista and she are friends and they had gone to StitchCon together or something. No, it was something else. Sampler Symposium maybe last year. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Susan Jeffries and Gina, and I cannot, her name just escaped me. Maybe Pickens? Don't know. Anyway, she's friends with Jim. Susan Jeffries this was her first retreat, so that was super excited. And I can't remember who all was stitching this. It may just be Jim and Krista and I, or maybe all 5 of us started it. I can't remember. But this is Vintage Sampler by Lori Holt. I just think this chart is beautiful. I do know that we bought all the charts that Prairie Moon had. See, because whoever all started stitching it, anyway, all the charts were sold. But you guys, okay, I do not have all my floss together, but I want to show you this. I need to get these on rings, but look at this floss. Ooh, it's so good. I love it so much. But you all, I need like a drum roll or something. And I don't remember what floss it is, but there's my start. This was my start, but I made a boo-boo, so I flipped it over and I restarted. You guys, this is 40 count. I'm stitching on 40 count. Or I did stitch on 40 count. Because I like to start things. I like to start things and I like to buy stuff. But apparently I don't really like to finish things. But 40 count. I can't believe I'm stitching on 40 count. That's kind of a big project for me, I think. Especially for 40 count. So anyway. This is Springtime Pin Drum by Heartstring Samplery. And the other retreat I went to was Welcome Spring at Hobby House in New York, in Victor, New York. And the guest designers were Heartstring Samplery and Beth Heartstring Samplery, Beth, and Plum Street Samplers, so Paulette. So I did start this. I took one Heartstring project and I took one Plum Street project, brand new. I kitted them up and took them. And this is my start on the pin drum. Springtime Pin Drum. And I did make this bag. And I made another one very similar to it and gave it to my daughter. You guys, look at this floss. Oh my gosh. Isn't that gorgeous? It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay. Okay. All right. So, no, that's not right. I told a fib. I didn't mean to. That flowery wildflower bag that I said I gave Krista one for her birthday. No, I gave her a patriotic bag for her birthday. I gave her one of those bags for her table gift. So I don't want to tell lies. Not that you probably don't care, but I made her a bag like this for her birthday. So so that she and I would both have a same bag for our Badger gentleman. Again, doesn't matter, and you don't care. But I made this bag out of one of the bag panels from Lori Holt. And this is the project, the Plum Street project I took to Hobby House. This is 100 Ways. And here's my start. So here's my first start. See anything wrong with that? Yeah, the project goes this way. So I had to restart it. Apparently I like to restart things. Not really. I really don't like to restart things. But also, on this floss too. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All those pinks. Yes. Pretty sure it's all the called for. If it's, no, there are a few substitutions. Anyway, there are a few substitutions, but they're pretty close. So, and I think Plum Street is one of my top favorite designers. Well, at least for chart buying. I haven't stitched very much of them, but I've bought a lot of charts. But I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to change the font so that the words will fit. I can't. It's like they're hyphenated, sort of. You know what I mean? So, if anybody else has any experience in that, let me know. Let me know. I made this bag. So I made these bags for, I made one as a gift for my friend Sue that I met at the pep rally retreat last fall. Because she lives in New York and she was going to the Hobby House retreat, and she already had a hotel room, so I stayed with her, and she had her car because she lives about an hour from Hobby House. Can you imagine? I'd be broke. Anyway, and so she drove us, me and Michelle was there, and her mom, and so we would go to dinner and stuff together. And so I made her a bag like this, and I also made these as my table mate gifts for the people I didn't know. So I made Jim a special bag, and I made Krista a special bag. But for the people I didn't know at my table at Prairie Moon. So long story, not really short, but okay, you guys, I'll have to pop in some pictures because you're not really going to be able to see the full effect. Let me see here. This is the project from the Hobby House retreat, but there was an option. Yeah, there's no picture in here of it. I'll have to pop a picture in because I do have a picture. So this is the heartstring portion. Lucy to Henry. Lucy to Henry. So there are actually two charts here. Is that right? 2 charts in there. I don't want to tell you a lie. I don't want to tell a lie. Sorry, let me just look. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. I think that's 2 charts. Yeah. Okay. And then there's Henry to Lucy. So, and here they are side by side, the 2 main charts. But they had a sample stitch of, instead of 2 separate charts, they had it in a bell pull, and so that's what I'm doing. So here's my start. And so you have this long piece of fabric, and I am doing the bell pull. I'll have to put in a picture of the finished, the sample that they showed us. So that's the project we received. And I'll show you all the floss because it's so good. So good, so good. All right. I worked on my birthday start since I saw you last. I don't remember exactly what I stitched, but I know I worked on it. This is 32 count deep magenta, this fabric. And here's my progress on that. I know I just can't remember where I was, but I did get down into the alphabet. I'm not 100% on some of these colors. It's because I picked this deep magenta fabric. I just felt like my birthday stitch needed to be on this fabric. But see this orangey, I may think I've asked you about this before, maybe. I'm just not sure about that. Or this brown in here. I'm not sure about that either. I don't know. So my plan is I'm going on to a retreat. It's kind of it's an invitation only retreat. The 21st of May. And I think I'm going to take this with me and ask for advice. I think that's what I'm going to do. We shall see if that's what happens, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I made this bag, and I made this at the Stitch Day that I went to with Lisa and Michelle. And this is housing Stitches Be Sweet. Oh, I told a lie. I did tell y'all a lie. This is Krista's birthday start. I don't know what I was thinking. Stitches Be Sweet. Sorry, Krista. I need to do Flosstube more often so I don't get so confused. And this is my tiny start. That's right, because on her birthday that morning, I got up and I think it was that morning. Anyway, sometime I sat at my kitchen table and I was like, I have to get some stitches in this. So it started for Krista's birthday. Where's the floss? Yep. Okay. All right. Goodness. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Whew. I tell you. Guys, it's finals week. Hey, finals week. This bag came from Penny and Tooney. And this fob I won in a giveaway from Shelly. I don't enter giveaways anymore since I started doing Flosstube. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just felt kind of weird doing it. And this is the Across the Pond Sal, One Stitch at a Time by Lottie Da. And I am behind. I was supposed to have all of this done by the end of April. So I have to finish this bird. I'm supposed to put a couple of hearts and my initials here. And I have to put little something in the middle of all these blossoms. Oh, there's a little bit of work on each of those birds actually. But I think, I could probably, if I just sat down for 30 minutes, I could probably be done. But, and yes, I left it in the hoop. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Floss for this one is beautiful. Oh, love that. I don't remember what I had pulled. This is Teal Frost, which is called for. And I didn't have Teal Frost, so I tried to use something else. It did not work. And normally I'm okay with, I feel like I am okay with not being exactly whatever, but it just was no consolation for Teal Frost. Oh, here's the little, I have this actually sitting here. Here's the little fob that's supposed to be on the bag that I made, like, ooh, sorry about the crinkle, that I made for Carrie, Tiger Lily, because she loves bright pink. So, okay, my travel stitch has been for quite some time Stitching with the Housewives, Pumpkin Blossom Place, and I finished the main portion, and I came up here and I started stitching the bottom of this, and I thought, whew, that's really close. And I've told you guys I'm okay with a tiny margin, but that's a little too tiny. So I went up top and started, and I got pretty far on the little sign piece. So here's what that looks like. I've showed this to you before, and you know, I really need to get it done, but I don't. I have the house and the sign thing. I have that whole thing. That's from Paisleys and Polka Dots. And I just need to paint it and put it together. And I'm in this club, the Blooming Roots Club with Fat Quarter Shop. So every month you get a new design. This is the only one I've stitched. It was the first one that came out last year in August, and it's the only one I've put. I've even got out of the package. So that's okay. And this is kept in my Stitching with the Housewives portfolio that I made from the bag from Fat Quarter Shop. I had Priscilla and Chelsea sign it at the Pep Rally Retreat last fall. So, oh, one more thing. If you guys recall the fabric, the quilted fabric for my Ultimate Travel bag. Yes, Ultimate Travel bag. Sorry, is that right? UTV, yes. And remember, I had a big piece, and I was like, what else should I make with it? And somebody said, make a stitching mat. And I did that. I made a stitching mat. And I made a couple of other little zipper bags. I think I've got one right here I could show you. Yeah. So I made a couple of little zipper bags. Well, I still had a piece left. So I made a glasses case. We're not going to show you the inside of it because it's really ugly on the inside. The inside's ugly, but I was pretty proud of myself for doing this zipper like that. That's probably not really hard at all, but anyway, I was proud of myself. So I made a little glasses case. So that's kind of fun. And I think that's it for the making. I think that's it for the making. And we're at 46 minutes. So I think I'll call it good for now and come back another time and do a haul video. I don't know if I'm going to do it right now, right after this or not. We shall see. And as you all know, it takes me forever to get a video posted. Today is May 7th when I'm videoing this, so we'll see how long it takes me to actually get it posted. But I do have winners from 10 weeks ago. At K-State Stitcher, I don't have the giveaways with me. So at K-State Stitcher, Jamie, you won the spring sampler chart from my last video. At Amy Swihart, 7283, you won Pumpkins Farm chart. And at Lynn Charbo, 5276, you won the wedding sampler chart. So I will tag you in the description below so you'll get that notification. But I did get the winners, from the random comment picker or whatever. I did get those. So email me, and my email will be in the description below. I'm not going to do giveaways this time because I know that in the next month and a half I have a bunch of things. I've got a couple of trips, and so I don't want to be 10 weeks again and you waiting for me to call the winners for a video. So for a giveaway. So I will wait and do giveaways next time, hopefully. All right. Thank you, friends. If this is your first time, I hope that that wasn't too crazy of a ride for you. And thank you for coming. If you're coming back, thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.